This is my confessional. Every time it's my confessional, I'm just officially announcing it. Um, let's talk empaths. Those guys. Those guys are quite a deal nowadays, you know? And that's all right. That's cool. If you ever run into one, and I'm sure you have, you know when you see it. If you know, you know. If you don't, good thing you probably don't understand the way karma works either. But okay, so empaths are people who have an extremely deep and strong connection to spirit energy, all the way up to multidimensional shifting types of abilities and things of that nature and so forth and what have you. So I did I started like a little video blog um like a little over a year ago, and I stopped it for a hot minute because I got some things was going on and I wanted to make sure that I had all my ducks in a row, and then I just never got back to it. And so now I'm out here doing my thizzle. You see it, I be it. Shifu in the building, y'all. What's up? So, empaths. We can take just about any type of energy and get some type of information from it. We're very adept at that. Um, Long story short, we're kind of like walking lie detectors. Oh, excuse me. Some of us might or might not be in, strongly enough in tune with our connection and our abilities to do certain things, and others are, and they can do other things. But the main thing that we're known for is our ability to get pretty much any kind of information we want from somebody. How does that happen? Well, I've tried to explain it before, and my neck's itching, so I better sit up straight and start saying what I need to say. But yeah, I've tried to before, and every time I try to explain it to somebody, I always come up with a different version of what it is that we're capable of doing. So I mean, it's a multi-layered explanation, but long story short, we can sense energy, the invisible. Well, it's all invisible, physical, except smells. A lot of our five senses are amplified in some way, and we're hypersensitive to certain stimulus, certain outside external influences and whatnot, and we get information from that allows us to maybe have a different perspective on the situation that we're going through, uh, compared with somebody who isn't very highly connected and empathic. I mean, we all naturally have that ability. Like, if you feel somebody's pain, or, sometimes they say joy is contagious, that those are the kinds of things that are just, general expressions that explain how broad of a spectrum empathy like encompasses. And, there's basically 8 billion empaths on this planet, human wise. Most animals are just innately empathic because they don't have their higher functions. And when I say higher functions, just the way that we operate. Um, so most animals do have, they're just empathic in nature. And like one thing that they have that we don't have, that we are regaining, is telepathy. I'll come back to that. But, like as far as being able to access a different type of information, or a wider bandwidth of information is probably more accurate. A wider bandwidth of information, yeah. So it's almost like differences in sight between certain animals, as far as the bandwidth of a visible spectrum that their eyes can analyze and allow them to see. Our spirits are connected to a wider bandwidth of the greater consciousness. So we have access to more information than somebody who's not locked in like us, which it is what it is. Sometimes it's a curse. Most of the times it's a blessing. I'm just be honest with you. It's a blessing. I love it. I love it. It allows me to understand things. I don't want to say more deeply. I think it would be an equivalent comparison would be, book smarts versus street smarts. I think we have the best of both worlds. When you dive into your shadow work, and you're doing the leveling up, whether you're unhealed or healed, whether you're healed or not is irrelevant. We're always trying to heal something, and it just because we healed a wound that has been dragging us down since our childhood, or anything in between then and now, we're going to develop wounds in the future. We're not going to just stop being traumatized because we healed our father and mother wounds and all the other things that come along with that, which in time I'll probably will talk about that too, because that's my life. So, but yeah, when you can access a greater bandwidth of information, it would be the difference between your local library, if that was all you had to access. No outside information, no connections, none of that, just books. And then somebody who's got a mobile phone with internet access, and you chat GPT and all that. Okay. We would be the mobile phone version, and is just for comparison's sake. It does take a long time to get to the point where you're receiving direct downloads from source and things of that nature. So it's not like we just woke up one day and said, nigga, I'm finna go just talk about all crazy shit, and then I'm gonna tell everybody that I got it from God. You got it from God? God just told you all that, every God told you that. Yeah, nigga, I'll be getting downloads and shit, man. Look, I'm telling you, when you dive into, and you just gotta accept things. I used to do plays. I was in a band anyway. White Rabbit, go away. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, you'll get that from time to time. Like I said, it's in the bio. No remorse. So when, accessing all that information, you do have a lot of different angles to operate from. But it also takes a lot more patience and time if you're that type of person who wants to dig deep and dive in down the rabbit hole And I mean, I'm still trying to find the bottom of rabbit holes. I started digging in like 97. So there's that. Accessing a deeper connection and being able to level up into your higher frequencies. And then when you get to your highest self, those are some things that, just as a person in general, I mean, by the time you get to that point, your empathic abilities are out the roof. I ain't even there. I'm working on it, but I've seen people that are telekinetic and shit like that. And that's crazy, but it's possible. It's very, very possible. Excuse me. Thirsty. It's possible. Like every time you meditate and you connect to source, you have a multiverse at your disposal. Legit, no cap, a fucking multiverse at your disposal. And if you're not afraid, because you will have to dig deep and dark. You will have to dig deep and dark. Get comfortable. Get used to being in it. Stinks. It's nasty. Ain't hardly no light. It's all wet, gooey, and there's just all kinds of. I would not want to be a canary in that coal mine. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But okay, but the thing about it is, once you get to that point and you've already committed yourself to just digging deep and saying, fuck it, let's go, y'all. Hey, I'm finna get it in, son. What we about to do again? We about to revive ourselves. That's what we about to do. We about to wake up. Talk to me. Where you at? Want to hear you. Finna wake up, y'all. And part of it is confidence. Part of it is understanding, which the confidence usually comes after that. But the willingness to be wrong, is a different type of motivation. The willingness to be wrong. Say it with me. I don't know shit. What do we really know? What do we really know? I'm gonna challenge you to answer some of that. I mean, what do we really know? The Akashic Records state. Insert favorite YouTube clip. You got to do the work, man. You got to do the work. Period. You got to do the work. And yes, watching YouTube videos is part of the work. Should you deem it necessary? I do. Is what it. How can we grow as a community if we don't understand what the community is? I'll be on here, whatever, insert social media app you're watching me on. I'll be on there. I don't be on there a lot, but I'll be on there. I'll be checking some folks out. And like, there's a whole lot of cool shit happening right now. It's going up. No, I'm not doing that song. But, that's the thing about the beauty of social media and the way it's coinciding with all of the Aquarian energy that's going on. And I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad you're a part of it. Connecting to the greater consciousness, has been something that I've always kind of had a leaning towards. But I never, I'm just going to say it out loud. Like I said, this is my confessional. I was afraid that I was going to end up in the position that I had seen other people end up in, specifically my father. Not getting into it, not right now. But anyway, there were some, shenanigans popping off, and this, that, and the third, and I can't say that I attributed it to the esoteric arts, the mystic arts, cosmic sciences, astrology, tarot, everything that I'm studying right now. And I have to say it was him, but that's beside the point. My fear kind of kept me away for a really long time, even though I had kind of nibbled at the fringe since I was probably, barely double digits, 10, 11, 12 years old. So, I mean, I've always been curious, and even though he was in and out of my life a lot, he did kind of give me some guidance when it was appropriate. Sometimes when it wasn't appropriate, but now that I know what he was telling me, we'll call it a push. But yeah, so like I said, confidence. You have to be confident because you're speaking things into existence, connecting with source, and airing out your dirty laundry, asking for your deepest desires to be fulfilled, things like that. There's certain types of intentions that you need to take, and just with any kind of intellectual pursuits or whatever kind of career path that you're on, at some point you have to be able to conduct yourself appropriately and properly. So that's always going to be the, I guess, the framework that I choose to operate from is, in the time that I'm doing what I'm doing, what's appropriate and what's proper. Is something that I'm doing supposed to be, is this supposed to go here? I think I said something like that in my last video. Like, yeah, like, navigating triggers. Yeah, I said, what's appropriate to go here. So just understanding what the universe is trying to equalize, because it's you got to give something up, and it's the laws of equivalent exchange start occurring, and I'm getting long in the tooth, I know that, but I apologize. So the laws of equivalent exchange, when you're dealing with empaths, for us there's a lot of imbalance. It's not an equivalent exchange with most people, and that's hard to navigate. That's hard it's easy to get triggered, so empaths, what do? We figure out shit that exhausts most people. We talk to trees. We're probably your best friends and your worst enemies. We're a family that gets on your nerves. Sometimes we're a little too on point with what we're saying and doing. Sometimes we'll take your pain and make fun of you just to see if we can lighten the mood. Not to be, not to be vengeful or anything, but sometimes laughter is the best medicine. You know, Patch Adams, watch it. We're just people. We're who we are. This is what God blessed us with, and this is what the universe is wanting us to do with it. So just be you. Don't feel nervous. I mean, if we tell your secret, it probably needed to happen anyway. Don't be scared. Progress don't come by keeping a band-aid on. You can only heal to a certain point until you get some air in your life. Yeah. Love y'all. It's your boy Shifu. Holla back when you see me. Peace.